Do you want to begin by introducing yourself and telling me what you do?
Yes, my name is Jamil Samaan, and I'm a software engineer here at Canela Software.
And how long have you been here?
About a little less than a year, but more than half a year, maybe like 8 or 9 months.
Sure. What's your background before coming to Canela?
I went to UCI under a computer science degree and I graduated, and I also had an internship while I worked at UCI at First American Title under their IT division, doing programming and stuff like that.
When you were studying, what were the languages that you were working with?
At UCI, they start us with Python, and then from Python, you can sort of go in a few different directions. I went, and that one after Python was like C++, and from there, just depending on which class needed what, I learned, a lot of C-flavored languages like Java and C, just vanilla C, and used Python a few more times.
Out of those languages that you'd used before coming here, did you have a preference?
Yes, my favorite is probably C#, which is one that I actually didn't learn much in school. It's one that I learned at my internship because they used like all this Microsoft stuff. I really liked C#. I found that it had the C syntax that I liked, but it was cleaner in some ways than C++ to me.
What was it like when you were introduced to LiveCode for the first time?
It was surprisingly difficult, actually, because it aims to be so high level that at the beginning I was like, wait, how do I even assign this variable? What am I supposed to do?
Right.
And I had to look at the documentation and put 5 into X, something like that. So there's an initial adjustment period where you have to be more into the live code syntax versus the more traditional like C, or even Python's closer to C syntax. And then after that adjustment period, I find that with every programming language, the concepts that you use are really the same, and it's just a matter of sometimes looking up different words or syntax to use.
Sure. Can you remember how long it took at the start to get over that initial hump, that initial learning process?
Probably a few hours, because I had to learn pretty quickly because we did before the job interview, we had like a test where we made a calculator app. So Mark emailed us and was like, hey, add some features to this calculator. And I was, oh man, how do I even use this? So it took a few hours, and then from there, I had more time to just work on the project.
And what was it like after the first couple of weeks here? I mean, did you get your head around the language quite quickly?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
So fairly fast. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of time commitment involved in learning a new language. Was it worth it?
Yes, I think so. I think it's just good to always know more and learn more. And I think LiveCode is very convenient and very strong in some ways, like to make GUI apps and stuff like that. So it was definitely worth learning.
How important would you say it is to be able to develop something quickly?
It's very important. Time is money.
Sure. And would you say that LiveCode is a good language for developing things quickly?
Yes, it's very straightforward. So it's a pretty easy process from I have an idea to I can think how to express it in LiveCode.
Any idea how you think it might compare with those other languages that you're familiar with?
Yes. So let's take C# or Java, for example. They're basically the same language, right? Very close.
Yeah.
With those, you can, once you have the idea, you can still say, okay, I want to go and start coding it. But to start coding it, there's a lot more you have to do first. With LiveCode, it's like, okay, I'm going to make a new stack. I can just adjust the size of the stack. I can open a script and get started. With a C# program, I have to be like, okay, what kind of project do I build? I want to build I don't even remember what the name is for the GUIs that you can use in Visual Studio. And then you have to think about the design and the whole object-oriented structure. You have to navigate, so you have to figure out where your main object is going to be, and you have to figure out what kind of objects you want to make, and there's just a lot more of that sort of pre-work before you can really say, I want to code the behavior of this button.